Hello, this is Awaken to Truth channel. I'm Michael Smith. Thank you for taking the time to come by and watch this video today. If you would, please like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed, I hope that you will consider subscribing today or sometime in the near future. Okay, let's get to the topic. And that is that yesterday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell gave his prepared statements to the press, a press who took these statements via Zoom and then asked some questions based on the statements that Powell had made. And oftentimes people wonder, why would I care what the Federal Reserve Chair has to say? Well, that's usually because people don't understand what the Federal Reserve actually does. And the Federal Reserve is a centralized planner for the United States economy and the United States monetary policy. So the Federal Reserve plays an extremely important role in the way things are going to unfold and in the way things are going to move forward. So what the Fed is signaling, or what the Fed is doing, is going to impact both Wall Street and Main Street. And from Powell's statements yesterday, I believe it's becoming clear that, at least for now, the Federal Reserve places a higher value on Wall Street than they are on Main Street. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Everyone was expecting Powell to come out and say some kind of commitment or some kind of hard commitment that the Fed was indeed going to raise interest rates this year, probably multiple times. Powell, in the end, didn't even commit to raising interest rates one time. He indicated that they probably would, but when pressed on it, he wouldn't admit that they definitely were going to. So what is wrong with that picture? Well, interest rates are one of the tools that the Fed has available to fight inflation. The Federal Reserve has stated that their target inflation number is 2%. We have found out in recent weeks that annualized last year, 2021, the inflation rate was 7%. So we're 5% above target. If we state that we want 2%, but the policies that we've engaged in have produced 7%, then that would seem to indicate that we need to reverse the policies that we were doing that has created 7% inflation and begin to back off so that we can get inflation back to our 2% target, or at least close to that 2% target. That would seemingly make sense, and that's what everyone expected them to do. But he simply stated that they would use the tools that they had available to both fight inflation and support the economy. Really? Because so far, all he has said time after time is talked about having these tools, but has failed up to this point to take any definitive action and actually use those tools to help people on Main Street with the rising cost that you are encountering every day. First and foremost, I think, in the supermarket. If you are keeping up with your grocery bills, you're finding that those bills are getting much higher than they were just a couple of years ago, significantly higher. And to most people, that's an impact that they can feel. That's not to mention the gas tank. That's not to mention the fact that new car prices, well, you can't hardly get new cars, but used car prices are skyrocketing. The prices of housing is skyrocketing. The prices of rent is skyrocketing. All of that combined, the inflation is actually significantly higher than 7%. If the United States government figured it the way that they did in the early 1980s, then at the very least, inflation would be double digits today. Maybe some economists think as high as 14, 15%, definitely 11, 12, 13%. So inflation is a problem, but it's a problem that Powell does not seem to be willing to tackle because he only committed to cutting back on the amount of stimulus that they are injecting into the system. So he said they're going to cut back on the stimulus, but he did not give any indication that they were actually going to raise rates. Now, why would Powell be hesitant to raise interest rates in spite of the fact that most people in America desperately need prices to begin to reverse course? Well, there's a few reasons for that, but one of the biggest reasons for that is that the markets, the stock market in particular, doesn't like the idea of less monetary stimulus. And they certainly don't like the idea of less monetary stimulus combined with higher interest rates. So Powell was not willing to commit, even when asked by a reporter, to basically give a definitive statement. Are you going to raise the interest rates? And Powell simply avoided the question and gave no commitment. So we could be in a situation where where inflation is running in double digits, and we have a Fed that is going to leave the interest rate at zero. Now, it's my opinion that they'll probably make some rudimentary effort to make it seem like they're trying to fight inflation by doing little minimal raises that actually will not do anything to combat the inflation that we're dealing with. But at least they're appearing like they're giving it a good try. And so because of this, we are entering into another one of these bubbles. And if you remember in the early 2000s, there was the dot-com bubble, the stock market bubble. If you remember in 2008, there was the housing bubble. And so from 2009, 2010 until present day, there haven't been any bubbles. Well, we're on the verge of one of those bubbles. Exactly how it's going to shake out, I don't know. I can't predict exactly how it's going to shake out. I can tell you it's not going to be super pretty when it does shake out, because this policy of continually stimulating the economy and continuing to have super low interest rates. Now, I will say that he says they're going to stop stimulating the economy so much, but they are going to seemingly keep the rates extremely low, if not at zero, because there was no commitment to lift off and to begin to raise these rates. We are creating asset bubbles in the stock market. We are creating asset bubbles in the housing market. And why would the Federal Reserve want to allow such bubbles to exist? Because it creates something called the wealth effect. If you're logging into your phone and you see the stock market going up, 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 and your 401k or your IRA or whatever is seeing increases, then you have a feeling that you're prosperous. You have a feeling that you're doing well. Same thing if you know that your house is going up in value, you have a feeling that you're doing well, even though you're not realizing any of that at the present moment. At the present moment, maybe your wages are actually buying less, but the fact that your 401k is seemingly doing well, and the fact that your house has gone from, say, $250,000 to $350,000, you have the sense of security. It's okay. I can continue to spend the money that I want to spend. But if you begin to have uncertainty with your 401k going down, or with your house price going down from, say, 250 to 200, then maybe all other things are equal, but it causes psychologically the consumer to tighten down and begin to save more and begin to prepare for getting through some times that are a little bit tighter. And that's exactly what they do not want, because the way that our system has been set up is savers are punished and spenders seemingly are rewarded. In the long run, you're not rewarded, but they're not going to give you any incentive to save because you can put your money in the bank and essentially earn zero interest. Or in today's case, you're actually earning negative interest. So why would you want to put your money in the bank, put it in the stock market, or just go ahead and spend it? But that is exactly the type of system that is being facilitated and is being supported. And it doesn't seem like there's any change coming in the near term by this Federal Reserve and this Fed chairman to begin to alleviate some of the real issues on Main Street. It seems that they are content to continue to try and cater to Wall Street. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope it explained some things, gave you some things to think about, and God bless you. I will be back very soon.